2026. I'm here on the driveway of the home base in Longs, and we've got a full moon. And, and moon set is 6:45 today. Wanted to show you a couple of things. Let me let me do this. Got my bird bath out front. Show you how. Let's see. Here's the reflection of the street light in the bird bath. The original Truthmobile there, and then my new Truthmobile I've had for a few years now. I wanted to show you how absurd it is that they say the light from the sun is hitting the moon. Look at what happens when you put a light up in the sky. Oh, and by the way, you might want to take note of all the particulates. So breathing in through the nose with mucous membrane traps that. So some of it, maybe a lot of it, I would say. So I spit a lot. I'm good with that. And we live on a stationary level plane. That's a fact. That's an absolute reality. Okay. So here is the moon through the wind chimes. How's she hanging? Vertical. That's how it works. It's a wind chime hanging vertical, like a plumb bob. So reality exposes the global lie. It's just a fact. It's just how it is. And people don't like it. And that's okay. I don't mind. It's not my responsibility or ability to change people's mind. I just simply make information available for people to consider. So this is kind of like an archive of the original Truthmobile. I've just got it on the driveway here for the eyes in the sky and the neighbors going by. They can see that. Now I've got my sanitation professional coming on down the way. It's a human being, most likely. I've talked to him on different occasions to pick up my trash and my neighbor's trash. Yeah, that could be fully automated, of course. And I want to go ahead and show you how I can put the reflection of the moon in the bird bath. It's based on proximity and angle, and that's a liquid mirror. So now I'm going to take my power beam here and, well, let's see, I'm going to just set that down and then I want to have the, show the ripple effect actually. So let's see, there's the moon. Okay. And then that'll steady out. See how that is? I can move it all around there. I'm just moving my phone, iPhone Pro Max 17. I'm using the native mic. That means the original equipment. I had a hater troll, maybe a troll bot, come on by yesterday, and that's okay. I don't mind. Here's another wind chime in the front yard. I've got a this one has a hole in the middle of it for a different effect. Now, right now, I've got my air conditioner heat pump running. Maybe you can hear that. It's creating a temperature differential, and that'll pull moisture out of the house air. It'll drip outside. I could collect that water, but I'd rather not. It's breath and humidity that I really don't want now. However, when the grid goes down, if and when, I've got a PureWell portable reverse osmosis system I got from Amazon, just under $200 when I got it. So people can come on by and take a picture of that. If you think I've missed something or got it wrong, met a gentleman yesterday I've seen around for a decade. We finally talked, and found out that he worked with nuclear weapons. How about that? Let's see. I want to flip this around. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Let's put a little light on that subject. See the breath? That's temperature differential. Now it's all of probably how much better contrast if I put it. I know that might look a little weird. I don't mind. So anyway, let's I'm gonna flip it back around. There we go. That's better. So just notice what happens when I move the camera. So there's apparently supposedly four contradictory movements of the earth totaling thousands of miles an hour. And the smoking gun of the impossibility would be the 1,000 mile per hour rotation at the equator. 1,039, that's what they say. I'm really good at remembering things that I find important. If you believe that we have curvature on a spinning, wobbling, gyrating water ball to the extent of circumference 24,901 miles, you got to find it somewhere. Not going to find it at the ocean. That's over the ocean right now. That's straight south. And the sun is going to come up over there today, right over there. And later on this year, the sun will come up over there. You can see it on my in my research library, videos that I've actually created. Back in Germany, apparently they had the eye of God that they would put out for people. It's pointed right at my house, neighborhood watch. I'm cool with that. I don't mind. I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm simply exposing the truth about all this make believe world that they give us. Now, I've given my cards to probably, wow, that's pretty loud, 10 sanitation specialists over the years. Now, here we've got some options for refuse. We can take it to a collection site. I've got uh, a half a dozen of them within 5 miles or so of here. But imagine in New York City, if you don't have garbage pickup, wow, it gets ugly fast, I'm sure. One more time, this isn't a moving, not a bit, not even a little bit. So I'm going to make it move. Let me do that. I'll just set this down, put it on in there. She's a real. And then that'll steady right on out. That's what it'll do. Ring them bells, baby. How about that? Apparently, in our history, our suppressed history, we had a lot of bells, church bells, and that. They took them down. You can see archives of that. This research library I've compiled is on multiple platforms linked with my name and phone number. It's not, oh, look at me. It's, hey, you can look up my name and see what kind of history I have. Relatively transparent. So I'm not hiding anything, just so you know. People like to think that. Largely, people like to think and believe whatever they want. Oh, I can zoom in on the moon. I think I will. It's a full moon. I get better optical clarity with a direct recording, but I wanted to have it live. Let's see. I probably can't. I can put some of the lights of the truck in the. Let's see. Where is he? Yeah, that's what we get for now. So we've got autonomous machines that not only can pick up trash, they can do scientific research, all kinds of thinking jobs, paralegal, lawyer jobs. They can make stuff up. I call it lying. They call it hallucinating. Uh oh. We got that one in the road yet. There we go. Good deal. So now I can put them in the, let's see, where is it? Right there. It's a lot lower. So line of sight, proximity of object. We've got shadows, reflections, all of that. All of that goes into looking at the reality. Now, once again, I'm going to go ahead and put the light in the sky and see what you see with that. Pretty dark up here, right? That's what happens when you put light up in the sky. Now I'm going to go out here and I know on really cold weather like in December, the moon is high in the sky, virtually directly overhead. Polaris is stationary, apparently, and the firmament rotates above the stationary level Earth. And then we've got the sun and the moon moving above the stationary level Earth. The moon moves all around different locations where it rises and sets within the month and the phases of the moon. You can check that out. Somebody can drive by my mailbox and see, oh, the truth guy. Yeah, the truth guy. How about that? And today I'll be going to the parking lot in at the 62nd Street North. That's where I end up parking, and there'll be a lot of drive arounds there, meaning people are looking for a spot and they'll drive around and then they'll see the car. And if they go out on the beach, I'll be there. And I've got the banner up there for people to see, and it's actionable information. They can also come up to the car and see I've got that there and that there. The truth. What is the truth? The truth about what? Well, I would say the truth about everything that I'm finding out about, and it's significant. We've been lied to about our history. We've been presented information in our history that's false, and they'll put it in textbooks, and people with PhDs and all that will talk about it. Oh, hey, I've got the moon view, or I mean the Mars view, the red light. That'll make things look a little bit different. Let's I'm gonna do it like this. Quite often I will put myself in the shot with the forward facing camera. No, I want to put the moon in there. Let's see. Do I have the moon in the shot? And let's pull the red light off. Uh-oh. Oh, it's there. I got it. So there's a temperature differential that allows the moisture to be seen. No, I used to live in Wisconsin. I've lived in a lot of different places, Texas, California, Wisconsin, um, Wisconsin for a good part of my life, and here for about 18 years now. And I love it here. This is the way I like to enjoy winters for sure. I've got a copper rod in there to pick up trace elements of copper. It's good for the body's electrical system and also good for the gut flora and biological sterilization, apparently. That's part of the deal. Now, they say the official story is we're spinning over 1,000 miles an hour. Could a wind chime hang vertical like that? Is that even possible? No, no. And then okay, I'm going to call them globetards. They may even be billionaires. I'm exposing them. They just gotta have their space fantasy. Well, you can have all kinds of fantasy. They serve it up, and I don't mind pointing it out. But it's nice to know when it's a fantasy, like the movie Oblivion. I've got it in my library with Tom Cruise. And then we've got Mad Max. Hey, we might see a Mad Max kind of world because we've got the peace president, Donald J. Trump, and his regime that are blowing up innocent men, women, and children directly with our military, spreading peace and democracy around the world at the point of a gun. Does anybody else find that absurd? I do. Oh, am I anti American? No, I'm just pro life. I believe it's wrong to create weapons of mass destruction and deception and deceive, corrupt, and kill, subjugate, and genocide humanity. Wow, that's a mouthful, but hey, I got it. I got it going on. There we are. Let's follow that ring around. I would have to move quite a bit to do that. There. How about that? So reality exposes a global lie. Some would make fun of me as the toilet water guy. I said, we don't have toilet water flying out on people in Australia because of gravity. Well, hello. It's simply water seeking its level. It's what it does. Whether it's in a crystal goblet, a water, a bird bath, or the water that covers the face of the stationary level Earth. And yeah, the sun and the moon have an effect on tidal activity. The ocean is the largest body of electrolyte in the world. Did you know that? So when I'm out there chilling on the beach or running in the wet sand or in the ocean, I'm picking up energy from the sun. And when I'm out on the beach, the reflection of the sun will come down and bounce back up. So it's a force multiplier. And why does that matter? Well, we get energy from the sun indirectly through food, through feed for animals that we consume. Many consume animals, and then we've got direct consumption from the sunlight itself, but also indirectly through food crops. and then the moisture that we breathe in that's been activated by the sun. Oh, and one more time, let me let me show the so when I've got the red light, we don't see much in the way of the particulate in the atmosphere. But let me pop the there it is. And there's the particulate too. So what is all that? Well, apparently aluminum, barium, strontium, biological agents, pollen, humidity, moisture, negatively charged, coming in from the ocean. Look at that. So I'm not all freaked out about it. You don't see me all masked up, right? Oh, let's what am I doing here? That's what I'm doing. I'm exposing the truth. So the moon gives off its own light. Apparently, the light of the moon is about 7 to 10 degrees cooler than the shade of the moon. I've tested it. I've used my house as an example of that. I've also had moonlight on cardboard, put it on cardboard, and then the shade of the moon, noticing the temperature differential. I'm not the only one to do this. It's been done many times. However, the Earth, concrete, that has different thermal mass. We've got dew on the grass there. Maybe you can see that dew on my mailbox, spider webs. Dew on the Truthmobile, the original, and we can see how the pollen is on the car, and then it ran down. Maybe you can see how it ran down. Now there's no dew on this car. Why is that? Well, I pulled it out just a little while ago, and it was warmer than the atmosphere, so it's not going to condense on there. I've got videos that show how people have used creative methods to harvest humidity from the atmosphere in areas where there's not a lot of electricity or none at all. Excuse me. And then there's the water light. The water light is in my library as well. It's across the multiple platforms through my link tree that's in the description. The water light uses salt light to uh, you put about a quart of salt water from the ocean, or you can mix it up in your kitchen if you want, and then it uses a chemical reaction within the device to create electricity to charge a phone, to bring light to areas that don't have electrical distribution. All right. So I've got the free energy systems in my library. The New Century documentary covers a wide variety of what's called zero point or etheric energy. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna, I think I'm, okay. So I know where it is. I think I've got it in my window ledge. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it. I'm going to grab my light. Anyway, I won't be able to get a good view of it, so I'm not going to do it. I could bring it out here, but I think I'm not. It's the little Tesla plasma orb that I've got. And that's in some of my videos showing electricity all around and then the glass dome there. Like to compare that to the firmament that you can read about, hear about in Genesis 1 in the Bible. Okay, I know that there are people that don't like the Bible because they've got appetites, proclivities, habits, desires that the Almighty infringes on from their perspective. I'm like, okay, that's your prerogative. If that's what you want to be, you or believe, you might be a spawn of Satan. Could it be Satan? like in the Saturday Night Live Dana Carvey skit. Yeah, so Satan deceives the masses. I simply want to expose the truth to the masses, and I'll use everything that I can, a multi-trillion dollar worldwide distribution and projection of information. The phones, tablets, TVs that play the YouTube videos and all that on, the whole thing. Oh, okay. So check this out. I've got the reflection on the top of the car. My HOA doesn't want me to have my water jug on the car ever again. Well, here I go. I'm going to do it, but I'm going to take it off of there. But here we are. Let's put it in there. Let's put the moon in the jug right there. Proximity, the view, the light. That's how it works. I was at the Flat Earth Conference in Denver, Flat Earth International Conference. Met Logan Paul there. Logan made fun of me, of course. Cool. They like to mock the truth. They love to mock the truth, the way, the truth, and the life. Oh, here's the little ring on the handle. Can I put that in there? Of course. Of course I can. I can. Apparently, the Georgia Guidestones that they took down after it was blown up by whatever means could have been a lightning hit. Lightning could do that. Anyway, there was a hole in it that you could see the North Star through. And if you went up close or looked at the documentaries in my library, apparently the ruling elite wanted to reduce the population of the world down to 500 million because they want more resources for themselves. Isn't that special? So there's right and wrong, good and evil, and I would say they are evil. Who are they? Well, all the ones doing the evil, even well meaning people that are duped, deceived. So they try to deceive everybody they can. And some of the most convincing deceivers are well meaning people that are simply deceived. So maybe you noticed the light went on there. That's my new neighbor will be living there. They're not there yet. They're going to be putting a fence up over there as well. Ah, notice the symmetry. Now the light went off. The car activated the light. Hey, good morning. Woof, woof. Hey, that's Hotel California you got going on there. Yeah, here, let me put that on my video for a moment. I've got a live stream going right now. I've got Hotel California in my library.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
What happened with that boy? Left?
We'll get a new neighbor in there soon. Jean is the lady I met. I don't know when they're gonna occupy.
When was sell sold?
They bought it.
Oh, bought it?
Yep. And your puppy's name again?
No,
What's it?
Caesar. Caesar.
Caesar. Hey, Caesar.
Come on. Hey, it's okay, Papa. It's okay.
Good boy. You want to come here, Caesar? Come here. It's okay. I think the camera might, maybe I'm freaking him out. I don't know. Hey, thanks for the trip down memory lane with a little Hotel California. We'll see ya. So that's one of the reasons why I have music videos. So I remember Hotel California and I was racing 125 motocross. I went from the top of the mini bike class to the top of the 125 expert class in a little more than I think it was 2 years, something like that. They had a progression. You had to race a certain amount of time. I could have run the 125 expert class like right away. What it was just so mind blowing to me that I could watch other people do it. And I thought, well, they're doing it. I can do it. And so there's a chemical reaction in the human body with dopamine, norepinephrine, adrenaline. I was really fond of adrenaline. Here, let's see if I can put the ring on there. This is Duraglass. It's a originally used for distribution of purified water in the 60s. I got it from the IGA at one of their sales where they sold a lot of the stuff out of the attic. So they were all dusty and that. And they were $5 a piece. And I said, well, if I took the whole box of them, could you give me a deal? And they said, sure, $2 each. So I got 14 of them, I believe it was. So if I walked by on the street right here, which is totally cool, I can totally do that. Then will it activate the camera? I'm thinking probably. There it goes. And what I'm going to do is get this out of the road for just because I can. All right. So there we go. And that's how it works. So I'm not freaked out that people see my license number or my house number or any of that. Satan knows where I live. The Almighty knows where I live. That's the most important thing. The most important reality is the Almighty protects and directs me, and that's why I'm not afraid to live, die, or tell the truth about everything that I find out about. So I would watch movies with the family and come up with alternative endings in my imagination. Ooh, let's just do that and see how that looks. I like to go the speed limit, enjoy the ride. No need to speed. I'm normally up a lot of hours of the day and I get plenty of rest whenever I need to. I might doze off on the beach and get a power nap. Now look at where the moon is. And it's going to set over there. So in the winter, let's do it like this. Oh, I think I probably don't need to use my light because I want you to see the twilight there, so to speak. In the summer, the sun comes up over there and sets over there. You can see it in my videos. I've covered it. How about that? And then in the winter, the sun comes up over there, right about there, and sets over there. Huh. Meanwhile, the moon runs a whole different path around all the seasons and phases of the moon. That's a reality. Other people have covered it. I've got a video that I have hashtag local sun or hydroelectric car is in there. Yeah, I definitely don't want to be in the road when a vehicle is coming. We'll do this again. So one of the things that I found out, I did a live stream where my microphone didn't work good. It worked only when I was in proximity to the native mic on the phone. I've got a DJI portable, rechargeable lavalier mic that works on direct recording, and it works really well. So I just wanted to do a live stream because, of course, it provides the live context. It's happening right now, April 1st, 2026. What's going to happen next? I don't know. A lot of people are getting blown up around the world with the peace president. No, he's the war president. He couldn't scrape the Department of Defense off of the department logo quick enough. So are you oh gosh, we still have Trump tards, people that can't see he's a bad man. Is he just a man or something else? Is he a satanically activated antichrist? I would say. Now, can that change? Perhaps. I've reached out to him. I've tweeted to him, and then I tried to get on the Truth Social, and from my understanding, I was never able to get on Truth Social. The response was your phone number is associated with a banned account. So was it because I was banned off of Twitter? Could be. I'm back up. I've got two accounts on Twitter. I had to over about 3 years, I probably appealed over 1,000 times. Hey, I've interacted with Grok, supposedly the most truth-seeking AI in the world, and I caught it hallucinating. I said, "Hey, you just told me this. Are you hallucinating?" Said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, in my world, I call that lying. You're deceptive." So is it maximum truth seekage? I think not. I believe not. So if somebody says, I don't believe, and then they finish the sentence, or I don't think, well, what they're actually saying, or I think it's better said, I believe it's better said, I believe they're lying. I think they're lying. There's the moon on the windshield. See? That's how that works. This is like a black mirror. More light out than in. Oh, there I'm putting some light in there. You can see that. So the lighting affects when a window is actually a mirror. So my lights are off inside there. But when they're on, you can see in like a fishbowl. That's just how it works. We can see the glow over there of the sun approaching. And today, in this season, it looks like the hot spot is over there. And you can see where I did my videos yesterday, where the proximity of the sun was off the edge of North America and South Carolina, Cherry Grove, the point as we call it. Now I'm not going to keep this live until sunrise. Now we're in summertime hours um, with our peak energy. So I will leave my electricity on until I turn it off at 3 p.m. From 3 to 6 p.m., I turn it off, but I've got a power station to operate my garage door and one to operate my refrigerator and then my uh, big screen TV. I watch a lot of TV. However, it's my YouTube channel on there. I wanted to be more specific. Some people say I don't watch TV anymore. I'm thinking, yeah, right. Or just change the programming. That's okay. I changed my programming. There we are with a different proximity. Notice now that the moon has moved. The water is still not flying out of the bird bath. Here, I'm going to put my finger in there. Let's see, I want to set this up. Okay, let's put it right on the moon. Can I read? I can't reach it. There are the ripples. And let me set it down. There we go. Yep. Then it stops moving. See that? Because it's small. Now, out in the ocean, there's a lot of movement. And I've seen it pretty glassy out there. Now, I want to show you this too. Like if you were dehydrating to death, let's see. How can I do this? That's a lot of particulate that drained out of the air. And then there's the water seeking its level. See that? There it goes. See that? That's just how it works. So there's like an electromagnetism all around us. Let's do this. Watch it go again. There it goes. Look at that. So the people that believe we're living on a spinning globe are believing a lie. What other lies are they believing? Especially if they're spreading Jesus all over what they do. Now I'm a born again Christ follower. I just want to point out that there's a lot of people spreading Jesus all over what they do, and they're globing it and they're trumping it up, globing it up, trumping it up, and they're deceived. So Second Thessalonians 2:11 says they refused to love the truth, and so be saved. For this reason, God sends them a strong delusion. Am I going to be? I don't even want to overcome that. I just want to live out my purpose. I want to live out the purpose for which I was created. Look at how much lighter it is now. It takes a long time to upload a direct recording for me anyway, even through my router. But if it's on a cellular, it takes a long time, too long. So I don't want to do that. So there they are, the Truth Mobiles. I've got the Truth Cycle in the garage and a menagerie. Oh, so let's see. I think I saw the reflection off of the bird bath on the house over there. Yep, there it is. See it on the roof line? I've driven, let's see, not this car. I had another car, a Volkswagen Quantum, it was called. I told Joni we left church and I said, "Did you know you can actually drive on Lake Winnebago?" And she said, "Where can you do that?" I said, "It started about 50 feet ago." It was Lake Winnebago in Wisconsin. They'll get a couple of feet of ice on there. You can drive a car on it. I've done it. I've raced motocross. I've raced with studded tires on ice, jet skis, snowmobiles, race snowmobiles, all of that. So yeah, I'll have people say, "Are you a racer?" And a lot of times I think it's a bot account, and they like to put pretty girls that or a facsimile of a pretty girl. It could be an AI simulation. How could I know? I don't know. So now what I'm going to do is move my the water jug on the. Let's see. How could I? I'm going to just move this. I'll show you how I'll do it. So I want to put my other water jug right there, just because I can, and I'm buying a little time for the sunlight to get closer. So I just put myself in between the two. I think that's pretty close. I can line it up. Might take a couple of times. Huh, that was pretty close. Not exact though. I need to move it over a little bit if I want to do that. I think that might be our Spectrum guy. Yep. Oh no, that's Pi Barker fire protection, which brings up an interesting point. Is that water? No, this was full to the top. Notice the void in there, that space between the cap. That's about an ounce. Depending on the okay, how much does a gallon of water weigh? Well, that depends on temperature. That variable changes the volume and density of the water. So when I put it in its cooler and it's filled up to the top, and then it expands when it gets warmer, and then when it cools down, it shrinks. It gets smaller. So the volume and density of a gallon of water um, changes with temperature. It's just the reality of it. One more time, we can see it's like beat it up. That's just the way it does, or it is. Um, the lighting makes a difference, but you get the idea. Or I hope you do. No dew on the car because it's too warm for that. Oh, there's my reflection. Let's throw. Oh, I have to do it like this. Yeah, I've got some pecs. Some call them man boobs. Yeah, you can call them whatever you want. I can hear a mockingbird. How cool is that? So, moonlight in the jug. What I was talking about in coming up with alternative endings for movies and story plots, I think outside the box quite a bit. The box being what a lot of people believe, the official narrative. Well, a lot of people do that, and that's cool. We all have our own perspective. Now, what I would like to share with you is as I have that perspective, where does it come from? Where do our beliefs come from? Our ideas, our thoughts? Could it be Satan? Yeah, could be. Could it be the Almighty? Yes, could be. In fact, my desire is to know what God, the Almighty Creator, wants me to do, and I want to rely on Him to carry that out. That's what I do day in, day out. I had somebody ask me how I do this, how I pay for it. Well, the short answer is God provides. I'm going to be 65 in August. That's all publicly available information. So, not afraid of people knowing how old I am, where I live. It's not a thug or a hacker per se that is the biggest threat. In fact, I'm not afraid of the threats like I talk about. That sounds like a robin. So let's check this out. Is it a robin or is it a mockingbird pretending to be a robin? And then we've got the MK Ultra Mockingbird Media, which has a unified message to reinforce the propaganda. Now, here's the wind chime from the other angle. Let's see. Yeah. So there's imprints of that all over cars, memories. Now look at where the moon is in relationship to the wind chime. See? So in this video, from start to finish, you can scroll from, I know people come and go. It's like, oh, that video is too long. It's like, that's okay. Then you can watch or do whatever you want. I don't mind. You're not going to hurt my feelings with that. So here we've got an electrolyte or a electrical light, incandescent, but this one is actually an LED. Okay. And I understand that they can be used for data transfer. I get that. But that puts off 100 watts equivalent of light with 9 watts of energy consumption. So that works good for me. And it's a grow light. I've got grow lights in the house. They help my plants grow. So they're they're replace their grow lights that are real energy efficient. And I prefer a lot of natural light from the sun. See how much lower in proximity? Now, in all this time, we've moved how many degrees, or we haven't moved at all. My reflection for the street light, same spot. Of course, that hasn't been moving. However, the light in the sky we call the moon. Well, by golly, that's moved a lot. No, it's virtually right over the end of the street, and there it is. See it? And I got the truth right there. I saw all of this in my mind. When I raced motocross, I would walk the track and go, "Hey, I can clear that double jump. I don't have to go over it like a beginner. I'm going to go flying. I'm going to go flying really far and really high." And I would watch experts do it, and I would say, "I can do that." So I practiced with professionals. Actually, they were on the professional tour. So before I had my first motocross race, I got a book, How to Win Motocross by Gary Bailey. And then I actually practiced with people that were on the professional racing circuit, Tim Miller and Chuck Bender. Chuck and Tim would go to Florida in the wintertime, and I thought, wow, that sounds cool because we had snow and ice, and I couldn't go to Florida, but I could run my dirt bikes on the snowmobile trails. Snowmobilers didn't like it. Oh well. I'm sure you know I was real concerned about the snowmobilers not liking it. I would do it anyway, of course. You can't do that? Of course I can. I'm doing it. I've had people say, "Well, with all this going on, what are you going to do about it?" And I would say, "I'm doing it." Go ahead. What are you doing? Hiding out in your bunker? Some people do. They don't want to have a smartphone because Big Brother will monitor it. It's like, I'm okay with it monitoring because I can't stop it. And I'm wanting to help provide a little empathy in a system that has an alignment issue with humanity. What is an alignment issue? Well, artificial intelligence data centers need a lot of water and electricity. Who do you think's going to win that? We need it too. People need water, and electricity is more than a convenience. Without electricity, people in climates that have cold could freeze to death if they don't have a wood burner and that kind of thing. Oh, we didn't have electricity 150. Well, we had electricity a long time ago, and we had structures that were built in such a way that they were able to handle that temperature differential, like Adobe building, sod busters, sod huts, log cabins. Log cabin is can be pretty well insulated. It's just the way that is. Now I've got videos that cover unconventional building means and the collusion with the building materials contractors, and they were building materials providers, concrete and wood, big lobbies that go along with that, lobbying governments and developing building codes. So you have to, it's really complicated to even get a financing if you have a structure that's not built conventionally. And then there's the homeowner exemption in some areas where if you want to build a home out of dirt and straw, mud bricks that you make, you can do that if you're the builder. And you can see videos where I feature it. Taos, New Mexico, Taos, Taos. They've got unconventional structures that can handle quite large temperature differentials and maintain a indoor ambient temperature around 70 degrees, between 65 and 75. Underground, you can have uh, there's a lot more stable temperature. It's in the 60s, and there's a it's called the water furnace, which is a geothermal way of using the earth itself to stabilize the temperature. So instead of a compressor running to cool down or climate control this house, some people have actually MacGyvered it where they've got their cooling. They're using either groundwater or pond water to climate control to cool it off. Same thing with data centers. Like, for example, in motocross bikes, they used to be just air cooled, like when I first started out. And then Bob Hanna brought out his liquid cooled YZ 125. And what liquid cooling meant is they could run closer tolerances because there was a smaller temperature differential. It would change less, so they could have more compression and a massive increase in horsepower. So it was not just that they were cooler, it's what they could do with tighter tolerances to have higher performance. It's about engineering a system that works better. My dad and I, as far as I'm aware, in the early 70s, made the first mulching lawnmower. And then he took it to Aaron's Manufacturing. My dad sold steel for AM Castle, Lapham Hickey later on, to the military industrial complex. Oshkosh Truck, Manitowoc Engineering. Oshkosh Truck makes cement mixers, you can see them, and military platforms that operate like a locomotive, in many cases, diesel electric. They've got large electric motors that operate with a diesel generator. Like some of them have over 100,000 kilowatts or 100 kilowatts, 100 kilowatts. I believe that's what it is, and could run a hospital or a well to fill up a water tower. I can see a car coming in the distance. I think, not sure. Yeah, it's reflecting on the down the road there, and here he comes. Watch him. So part of what it is, it's like, oh, congratulations. What happens with me is I see little details that indicate something's coming. We've got trouble coming. Supply chain disruptions because of fuel cost increase. We're going to have a large already, like you can look at the temperature or the price for diesel in California is approaching $8 a gallon. Um, it was like $3.50 a gallon here, and gasoline was $2.50. But thanks to Donald J. Trump and working on behalf of Israel to destroy Iran, it's a planned, designed type of situation. Iran has a formidable underground missile arsenal, and there's death and destruction and military. Apparently, Iran is able to take out a lot of military targets in countries that are in NATO and like Saudi Arabia and that. And now apparently he's going to blow up Donald. Donald is going to bring peace and democracy to the Middle East. He's going to blow up the power grid in water desalination for those people he's wanting to set free. How about that? Anybody else see a contradiction in that? I really hate, I guess, hate liars, deceivers. I do. And killers, murderers. Um, will murderers, liars, deceivers be going to heaven? Apparently not. Jesus says no, no. And such as some of you were, meaning me. I've lied, I've stolen, all of that. Wow, look at the difference now. See how that is? And you can scroll all the way through from beginning to end. Let's see, how long has this video been? I can't see the count. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, over 60 minutes, over an hour long. In 1 hour, you can see where the moon was and where it is now in scrolling. Once the video is up and processed, you'll be able to scroll through that in just a couple of seconds if you want. See where it goes. So, once again, reality exposes the truth about everything, especially the global lie. So, the Terminator, Truman Show, Matrix, Twilight Zone, Her, all HAL 9000, 2001, A Space Odyssey. We have the truth in the form of predictive programming that goes out to help people see it in a way that's, oh, that's science fiction. Well, not exactly. Now look at the differential and the alignment of the water jugs and the moon. Now, see, now the light went on again. I don't walk in their yard. The closest I did was just put their garbage can up on the end of their driveway. I gave Jean my card so she could see what she moved next door to. Ah, there's the shadow of the water jug. See? And there I am doing another video. And boom, alignment, reflection, all that. Oh, what about the Coriolis effect? Sharpshooters need to accommodate supposedly for the 1,000 mile per hour rotation of the earth. No, no. When you throw a football and it has a spiral on it, it catches a little breeze on those little nubules on the football. And then there's rifling in a gun. I'm a real good shot with a gun. My grandpa and dad called me Eagle Eye. Oh, it was funny. I walked out of the cottage on Pelican Lake in Wisconsin, and my grandpa said, "See if you can." I was 6 years old, and I had a Daisy Red Ryder BB gun, and up in the tree about 100 feet away. 100 feet's a long ways away, and I shot him right in the eye, right in the eyeball, 100 feet away. 6 years old. And then my grandma said, my grandma fed the birds, and she said, "Bobby, you shouldn't shoot the birds." I said, "Well, Grandpa told me." He said, "See if you can hit that bird." I'm like, "Okay." I had to aim really high, and there you go. That's what I did. I used to shoot birds. I still do. I just use a camera or a phone camera, that type of thing, and then they get to live. I can take a picture of them and they get to live. So I could move that water jug or I could move this one and line it up. So I'm going to move this one. That's easier. I wanted it to line up with the moon. Let's see. No, I think I can't do that. But what I will do is move it over a little bit. Huh, looks like we've got a delivery driver coming. Amazon, I think. So when you shoot a high velocity round, like a 223 goes about 3,400 miles or feet per second. That's how that works. And then the rifling in the barrel and the corresponding rifling on the projectile spin the bullet so it rolls over that direction. So I've got a friend that said his furthest kill away was over, I believe it was almost a mile away, almost a mile away with a 50 caliber sniper rifle. Will's his name. I haven't talked to Will in a while. I met him when I went to Wisconsin to spend the last couple months of my dad's life with him before Father's Day of 2017. And when I met Will, I found out that his girlfriend at the time was on the emergency unit when I was airlifted in there on a near fatal suicide attempt in 2005 while on pharmaceuticals as directed, Prozac and Depakote, which disconnected my will to live. And that's pretty common with that drug, with those drugs. Um, so the reason why I mention that is because it's actually a pretty big deal. The pharmaceuticals are like for me, they were a chemical straitjacket. And then they made me suicidal and homicidal. Not good. That's why the pastor who was the senior pastor, Bill Lenz, at the megachurch that I helped build, several of their campuses, Wicks Lumber Company in Appleton, Wisconsin, or Menasha. It started out as Solid Rock Street Ministry. That's the ministry that helped me to believe that either they had found the truth about Jesus or they were terribly deceived. And a few months later, I came to believe that they were correct. And I thought I was born again in 1982 until I actually was in 2014. So even though I was involved in full time ministry at Rawhide Boys Ranch in New London, Wisconsin, and helped build Christ the Rock Church in Appleton or Menasha, Wisconsin. I was spiritually deader than a hammer and didn't know it. We homeschooled our sons with unbiblical curricula that taught the globe lie. Oh, well, that doesn't matter, Robert. Well, it does because the truth matters. So I can see there's a car coming behind me because, well, it's shined on the cars in front of me. You'll see them. There they are. So, what kind of a situational awareness um, do I have? whatever the Almighty wants me to see, think about, and experience. So, like when I'm walking around, I'm pretty aware of what's happening. If I walk out of into a public area, like a walking out of a store, I'm looking around at the parking lot, seeing if somebody's got their eyes directly on me. Why? Is that paranoia? No, it's accurate situational awareness. I've had edged weapons training and more. So, like when I'm on the beach, I've got a shovel that's really handy to go ahead and move sand around to manicure my setting on the beach. And in a knife fight, if somebody were to approach me with a knife, I would really be happy to have a shovel handy. How about that? Is that paranoid? No, no, that's just accurate situational awareness. Now, here I've got a very silent, you can see him flashing. Look at that. What is he? What are you? Ah, now I can hear him. But it's kind of an unusual looking flashing on it. I believe it's a private jet, not a commercial jet. So one of the reasons why I got the new iPhone Pro Max 17 is because of its optical sensor and its ability to operate better in low light settings and give a pretty good rendering. Now the P900 and P1000 are better. However, I can go live with this like I am now. So apparently they're talking about energy lockdowns worldwide in different areas. I'm not saying everybody all the time right now. I'm just saying different areas in the world right now are talking about driving less and working from home where possible because of the peace president making all our energy more expensive and killing a lot of people, including our own on the ground troops. And I heard apparently the draft has opened uh, up to 42 years old. Is that factually true? Is that accurate? I don't know. I'm not a fan of the wars. They're they're the militaries of the world are largely involved in acting on behalf of their benefactors, the military industrial complex and the corporations that they are funded by. Or and it's not just our tax dollars, just so you know. They make money out of thin air, and the more money they print and flood the monetary system, it makes everything much more expensive. Our available a dollar goes a lot less. It takes a lot more to buy a lot less. We've got shrinkflation where they give us more expensive products in smaller packages. And a lot of that stuff is not very healthy anyway. If we're looking at food type products, here, let's put them in there we go. And then once again, the security light goes on, just like clockwork. And the sun, moon, and stars move above the stationary earth just like clockwork. Notice that we still have the vertical hanging wind chime. Reality exposes the global lie. Water exposes the global lie. So I believe it's only by God's grace that anybody can love and believe the truth, let alone find it. I'm saved by God's proclamation, the doctrine of election, predestination. That's the only way anybody is born of the Spirit, entirely by the activity, the predestination. If there's a destination and that's been predetermined, who determines it? Well, in the case of where will you spend forever, it's the Almighty. He determines it well before there was any performance, either bad performance, good performance. Our names were put in the Lamb's Book of Life before the foundation of the world. That's what God's word says in the book of Revelation. You can check it out if you want. People love and hate that, the word of God. His name is the word of God, the Alpha and Omega, the way, the truth, and the life, knowing the end from the beginning. I'm gonna put this in the video. I was at the Skyfall conference in Alabama in 2019, and a gentleman gave me that. Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life. I believe that's a fact, factually accurate. Yep. And I've got, oh, this is a reflectivebible.com. Here, let me show what that's like with the, that's reflective, but it's kind of hard to show it like that. But anyway, that's what it is. So at a stoplight, somebody can take a shot of that or that or the whole thing if they want. How many lights are moving? Well, the light in the sky, the moon, the cars driving by, all the other ones are stationary. They're not moving. The lights on the garage doors, but the security light didn't go on the house when they were on the other lane, apparently, or it didn't go off that time. I think they were over too far. See how much lighter it is now? And then when it gets to close to 7 o'clock, the driving for the nurses and medical professionals to get into Seacoast Medical, which is down the road, they drive really aggressive a lot of times. I don't like to be on the road near there when they're going in because I like to go the speed limit. They don't. They can do whatever they can do. I just, like I say, enjoy the ride, metaphorically and in reality. When I was a little boy, well, about 7 years old, I remember my dad telling me about planned obsolescence, meaning things were made to be not their optimal right away. They were made to be replaced. They were made to be obsolete. Why we can't have nice things is name of a video I believe Veritasium did. There's a light bulb in California that's been going since like 1913 or so, something like that. It still keeps on a going. There was and is a light bulb conspiracy. They colluded to make their light bulbs not last very long. There's documentaries about that. Yep. This car, this Prius right here, could run on water and store up the braking energy in the battery, and then It uses the energy from braking to get the car going electrically, electric motor. It can run full electric uh, for, gosh, about 15 miles if it's below 50, or about 20 some miles an hour. It depends on energy consumption, but they've got a computer on it that makes it a real challenge to modify the fuel system. So, Stanley Meyer in the water car, he ran a dune buggy on water. Yep, it's a fact. There's more energy in a gallon of water, apparently, than a gallon of petroleum. And then the byproduct is humidity, condensation on cars and planes, trains, and automobiles, and grass and all that. Stanley Meyer also had a toroidal energy ring. You can see it in the Lost Century. Could put it in an electric car and have a perpetual driving machine. Plug it in when you get home, run your house, have a battery at home, or have a battery to even out the generation and consumption. If you're using water to, or I should say, electricity to heat water, it takes a lot of electricity to do that, comparatively speaking to propane or natural gas or a diesel boiler. Hospitals and schools largely would have fuel oil heating water. My grandparents had hydronic heating. I remember in the 60s, I was a little boy and the floors were warm. There was a big boiler in the utility room where there was a pool table and a freezer, and my brother and I would take my parents and grandparents daiquiris, and that's an alcohol beverage, and we would dip some out of there and drink them ourselves. How about that? Okay, so there is a jet trail in the sky right below the moon. I could see that, and that's some kind of a communications tower. Sometimes it flashes white. I don't know why. But anyway, hydronic heating flows water through the conduit, the floor, and then the heat rises. It's one of the most equal heating, comfortable heating systems. It can be zone regulated, so there would be hydronic valves that would operate to open and close, and you could keep a room much cooler or warmer as you desire. Oh, here we go. My dad and I made a wood an insert in our wood fireplace to heat up water to augment the propane heating that we had in our house. That didn't work so good. It ended up leaking and we removed it. But then we had a wood burner in the basement, and the subterranean area stays a lot more consistent temperature wise. And then the heat from down there would go up through the floor. It was another way of doing it. So when I was a boy working on a farm, and my parents and I would go out with my brother, and we would harvest firewood, take downed trees. I don't know how well you can see there's a little bit of, I don't know if it's moisture on the lens, but I'm not seeing that real good through the lens of the camera. Zoomed in, there it is, that jet trail. I've got video documentaries about weather modification. They modify it with particulate and then electronics. There's a we were living in a like a sea of electro smog, Wi-Fi, cellular, Starlink, and also the electrical activation from the sun and the moon affect that particulate that we breathe in. Can hear the NASA war document on how they were going to deploy technology in the food, water, and air to manipulate humanity. Ta-da! Here we are. Now I'm starting to get moisture on this car. It's cooled off quite a bit. Yep. Not as much dew as I've got on this one, though. Lots to do on this one. So, does all this matter? I believe it does. Of course, it does. The truth matters. What it means is that this whole mechanism of control of disseminating deception worldwide is happening through the educational system, which Hollywood is a part of. The movies, magazines, celebrity, all of that is a part of this system of educating, controlling. So there's truth and deception all around us. Pride is a powerful catalyst for deception. That's a large diesel engine operating on that, I believe. Or maybe it's natural gas. I'm not sure. It says green for life. That might be a propane. I do know that some sanitation trucks run on propane. No, that security light went on on that house because of that truck. And normally there's more than a light that goes on. It's a camera that records. Oh, I don't know that you're aware of this, but if somebody has a Ring doorbell, it can connect wirelessly with people's Wi-Fi. It operates on a different frequency. It's part of Amazon's program to create this mesh network of data collection. So when I was talking earlier about where do our ideas come from, where do our thoughts come from? About a decade ago, I was on the beach and I was recording an audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation. It was a digital recording. I linked an iPod to an iPhone where I had the digital audio Bible from Zondervan. It was the NIV at the time. Now look at the proximity. And when I opened my laptop, I could see a whole list of free Wi-Fi services that had the lock on them, and I couldn't access them because they were locked. Well, apparently, a Ring doorbell can connect with all of those kinds of signals. I believe it uses a 2.4 gigahertz. But here was my question or my thought. I couldn't access those Wi Fi routers. Were they accessing me? Because I've got a phone in my hand that I'm doing a live stream, a live broadcast worldwide on Facebook. Maybe a couple of people watching it, but it's still going out there worldwide. In just a little while, I won't be able to put the reflection in there because it's going to be behind the tree over there from this vantage point. Vantage point, proximity, those are all factors that come into play. See that now? The car light's moving, obviously. Some would say Captain Obvious. The moon is moving. The lights are flipping on, like the security lights on that garage. The wind chime, she's a not a moving. How's she hanging? Vertical. That's the way it does it. Time and time again. There it is. One more time. Linked on multiple platforms. You can also type in the hashtag silent weapons for quiet wars. Instagram, you'll get about 35,000 results. Facebook, about 12,000. When I started hashtagging that, I created, I don't know who may have hashtagged it before me. I'm not sure. I know there weren't very many of them when I started doing that. Now let's see. Look at the proximity of the moon and that jet trail now. See that? Those flashing lights aren't moving. The moon is moving. Now, what's going to look really interesting, I've got a video of it or photos of it. When the moon moves behind the guy wires holding that tower up, it looks like there's like through a gun sight on a rifle, a scope. But it's just one line, not a crisscross. Oh, no viewers right now. That's okay. 4 likes. Thanks for coming by. And what I'll end up doing if the video stays up, I've mentioned some things that might get it taken down. I don't know. But anyway, I'll add it to a couple of my playlists, maybe all of them if I feel like it. Look at how much more bright it is. So I'm going to go across to I need to grab the light beam again for this. Okay, so I'm at my across the street here, and where is the bright spot? It's looking like over there. The sun should come up in about the middle of the view. Let's do the light in the sky again. See that? And still, we don't have much light in between the where the sun is and where the moon is. I didn't want to shine it at the person, but see how there's not a bunch of light going on over there, lighting that up? It's moving over a stationary level plane. That's why. That's how that works. See? It's as obvious as my oversized eyebrows. Let's see, how's that? Oh, now we've got the jet trail proximity a little different. See that? The moon is moving away from me at this location. So I haven't done a long form video like this in a while. I just thought that I would. The properties of the how the light work against the color very different from the blue versus the black versus the white, black and white, light and dark. There's quite a contrast. And now I won't be able to put the moonlight in I can put the street light in there. Let's see, where are we? Same spot again and again. It does that over and over, but now this will not be visible in there. as best I can tell. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Still there. Not for long. See, it's moving away. We're looking through the tree now to see that. Look at the contrast there. Very different from the blue and the white. So later on in the summer, it'll get up to, oh, there's a plane flying right past the moon and the jet trail. Probably can't see it though. So for example, my heat pump is running. It's in the 60s outside and it's about the same temperature inside. And I'll turn that up to 70 probably. But the ground is in the 60s. So if there was a geothermal cooling system there, it would work very different. Sometimes it's pretty cool at night and it's going to be pretty hot in the day, and I'll bring the temperature of the house down easier because it's so much cooler outside. All right. I think I'm gonna sign off soon. I've got videos that cover health and wellness in my library. Keep in mind, these are experts in their field of study and expertise from neuroscience, actual brain surgeons, and people that study the brain in a way that they can remote control it at a distance. So I've got, what do I have here? I'm going to show you. Reaching in my pocket for my remote control. Now we're not going to see the beam from my remote control. I like to keep it in a bag so it doesn't get wet. And watch. There it goes. I've got the Truth Cycle in the garage over here as well. I'm a little bit more stealthy on the somewhat on the motorcycle where I've got like when I go to bike week and that people will see that. And then my helmet is kind of labeled up like a racer. And at a stoplight, for example, if somebody, I can look ahead. Let's do it like this. I can be at the light, like right there, looking ahead on my bike, and people can take a picture of that if they want to. Some will. The gas is going to get a lot more expensive, perhaps. Right now, we're a little over $100 a barrel. Wait until it gets to 200, if that happens. So these factors all matter. It means it's harder to put food on the table when they make energy more expensive. I'm fixing to go to the beach. Look at how pretty that is. It looks like we're about a half hour from sunrise or so. Anyway, this is Robert Forsch exposing the truth about everything that I find out about that matters. Feel free to reach out, give me a call if you like, anytime. All right, let's do a screenshot here or end of video. Thank you so much.